But I stopped and I was like, what is this? If you've been to any one of my shows, if anyone's been to my shows, one thing I think hopefully the take home is that it's very high energy. And I fell in love with it, man. You know, with music, it's really funny. Subconsciously, we call them earworms. Like, I love to make people have the time of their lives.
All right, we're very excited. Jay Sean's new single is out, and it's actually a precursor to an album which is going to drop later of the same name. It's called Last Call, and we've been banging it on Radio 1 India through all our stations, and people are just loving the Turkish vibe. Jay, great to talk to you. How are
Amazing.
you?
Oh, likewise, man. Thank you so much. What a pleasure. I love that. I love to hear that.
The Turkish byline or the fulcrum or the base of the song is
Yeah.
so sticky, man. You know, I can imagine when you first heard it, how you just had to do something with it.
Isn't it beautiful? I mean, you know, my whole thing is that I'm drawn to music in a very emotional manner, right? There's stuff that the minute I hear it, if it moves me, inspires me in some way, I can't shake it. And when I first, it's funny actually, I was on social media when I came across this, the sample from Mohabbat's song, Fani Bu Duniya, and I heard that string. And immediately I stopped. You know, like we all have scrolling disease, but I stopped and I was like, what is this? And I fell in love with it, man. And it was so emotional. And I sent it to my friend, my producer, Alan Sampson, who actually was the one who made Write It. So he did the music for Write It, and I thought this would be perfect for him to produce, and that's it, man. Then we wrote a song over it, and Mohabbat gave us his blessings to use the song.
Well, I believe other than Alan and you, who are regular collaborators. I mean, Ride It was one of the biggest songs in the world. I believe Sean Cook, whose bar song was literally just went through the roof this last
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
massive all over the world.
yes,
Sean Cook was
yes,
also involved. How
yeah.
so? Was he also a co-producer on it?
So Sean and I have worked on the entire album together. So the whole album is me and Sean. And Sean, of course, puts his little blessings and his touch on everything that we work on because it's really important for us to make sure that the songs sound cohesive, right? So like each song has to have a similar sort of feel. It's not like even if one might be up tempo, the other one might be a ballad. It's still got that sound, that overall sound, that the way that my voice sounds, the way that all the music blends together. You know that it's from one body of work. So yeah, it's been amazing. Sean's had an incredible year with a lot of the work that he's put out, and you know, it's just been a real pleasure being able to work on something with one person so closely because it's our baby, it's our project, you know.
When you were writing Last Call, I mean, you had this wonderful, wonderful Turkish riff, and you had to
hmm
put words on it. Did you struggle for a bit, or was it just an idea you had about that last call, and you just flew from there?
You know, I actually didn't know what I was going to write the song about, but where we always start off is melody. And so because for me the the string line was so strong, I followed that. That was the first melody that came to my head because it followed the notes of the string. And so I think that, you know, with music, it's really funny. Subconsciously, we call them earworms. They get in there and then they don't leave. So when you hear that, it's in your head. So last time we talked, so we just went with the same feeling. So now that melody is going to be stuck in your head the whole day, and you're going to be singing that melody the whole day. And it's no surprise that that was the first melody that came out for that. And then everything else is just, you know, the signature Jay Sean sound, man, that I think my fans know and love. And I wanted to give them something that they know. They're like, oh, this is Jay Sean. Only he does this kind of stuff. This is his bag, and that's why I felt like it was just natural, very natural.
I was just thinking of this when Down came out and the entire world started knowing about you, as opposed to people in the UK knowing you before Down. Uh, the first thing that people went was Brown Boy, that sound. But if you had taken this Turkish riff or something like
Yeah.
this back in the day,
Hmm.
and that had been your first song, it wouldn't have surprised anybody. So I think you surprised the world being a brown boy
Hmm.
doing regular mainstream R&B pop. And
Right.
you've come back to your Indian stroke Mediterranean,
Hmm.
stroke Arabic, this kind of roots
Hmm.
thing a little later in your career. I mean, there's always been a bit of Bhangra and things like that. Would you agree with me?
Well, I understand what you're saying. It's a valid point. I always made it it was very important to me that I never wanted to be known for one thing and one thing only. Like, here's the guy who does this. Let's imagine here's the guy who puts a tumbi in every song. Here's the guy who puts a tabla on every song. I always used to say, hey, listen, how about I'm just a songwriter and a singer, and maybe a song just needs a piano and a guitar, and then you want to go and put a toll on it for what reason? It doesn't need it. So I always said I'm Indian enough to represent my music. I don't have to throw it in your face by chucking some percussion in there to show you who I am. And so therefore, yes, I can do a song like Ride It where we have the eastern strings. Yes, I can do a song like Dance with You where we have the Indian flute. Yes, I can do a song like Stolen where we sample a Bollywood movie, but yes, I can also do songs like Down. I can also do songs like Do You Remember and 2012 and Hit the Lights, which are just songs that don't necessarily require any Indian instrumentation. But then there's other songs that I did like Tears in the Ocean, which was so emotional that it actually had an Eastern sounding string again, because it required that because that's what gave it the feeling. And I think that I always go by feeling. I never overthink a song in terms of the way I construct it because then I firmly believe this, then it's contrived. Then you're trying to force feed it down people's throats when it's not a natural feeling. And sometimes you just got to leave it alone and let the song breathe. So I always, hop around different genres the way look at Make My Love Go. Make My Love Go, completely different song. It's dancehall, didn't need anything else. So that's how I make my music, man. I just make it very much from the heart and my feelings.
I can't believe you mentioned 2012, Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj. I was listening to it in the car on the way down here from the
Yeah.
studio to home to do this chat.
Oh, I love
Like,
that.
my God, it's 13, 14 years old, but you can't tell the song is dated. I
Well,
mean, it's just,
that's
it's so modern. It's so cool.
Thank you so much, man. That's the blessing, isn't it? That's what we all hope for, to have a couple of those in our back pocket.
Yeah, more than a couple. Jay, it's been an interesting year. I loved Call You Mine. Oh my God. I can
Oh,
listen to
thank
it
you.
100 times a day. It makes itself into any playlist that I create.
I just wanna call you mine.
Talk to me about Call You Mine and the big question, will it be part of the album when it does come out in autumn or whenever it does?
Yeah, thank you so much, by the way, man. I do really love Call You Mine as well. All of the songs that I've put out so far, Pichi Pichi, and
Heartless?
Heartless,
Yeah, great.
Call You Mine, Last Call. They're all, we're bleeding songs off from the album, right? This is how the world works nowadays. We're not just gonna give you overnight. It's like, here, have a little taste at a time. Uh, so Call You Mine actually is one of my favorite because again, it's a return to that very simple melodic hook of a song that I think my fans know that when you hear melodies like that, it's a very Jay Sean type of melody, right? And when I say that, and to speak of myself in the third person, not because I'm some sort of weird narcissist, because I'm trying to just show that an artist stands for something. An artist has a signature sound. Ed Sheeran, you know what you're getting from him. Adele, you know what you're getting from her. Sean Paul, you know what you're getting from him. So with me, I think a lot of my fans were quite drawn to melody, and it's like it's a beautiful, sweet melody with a bit of sweet sentiment, and I kind of love that. That's really the mix I go for is the bittersweet. So you could be singing this beautiful melody, but the lyrics might hit you in a different way, you know. So that's what "Call You Mine's" about. It's a return to that kind of R&B sound that I absolutely love.
Lovely. And in a sense, Jay Dheer and Iki, even though they're
Yes.
both Punjabi, are so different
Yeah.
from each other. I mean, Iki is a Canadian boy.
Uh huh.
Jay is is in India,
That's right.
and working with them must be a whole different experience. Different.
Oh man, it was amazing. Let me tell you, when I actually came to India for about a couple of months to work on some of the songs that I did for the album. And there was a reason why. It's because I wanted to know what this new generation of kids, what kind of energy and vibe were they putting into music making? You know, always think it's very important to surround yourself with people who are not jaded, people who are not bitter about anything, just people who are excited about making music, people who live and breathe music. They don't know if it's going to be released, they don't care, they just want to make music. And that's what it was like when I came to India and I met Jay. Man, it was just instant. He was excited about everything that we were doing. And he was coming up with verses and lyrics and melodies so quickly. And I was like, Jay, slow down, bro. Like that one's amazing too. That one's amazing. Let's go one at a time. But it was just so much firing up inside of him. And he was an absolute pleasure to work with, a really lovely guy. And Iki, of course, more on the production side, making the beats. He's grown up on my music, but also grown is fully in touch with the sound of today's music. So he knows how to sort of blend those worlds together really well. And that was an absolute pleasure too.
I'm listening to Meri Banja a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Going, the West London boys still have a WhatsApp group going. Juggy D, yourself, and Rishi Rich. Are you guys
Of
still in
course.
touch every day? I mean, it's or every
Yeah.
other day. I don't know.
Of course, yeah, man. I mean, those are my brothers. When you travel the world together and you've had so many wonderful experiences and you share them together, that type of bond is something else. So I love the way that came out. Juggy called me and said, "Hey, could you do something on this?" And I was like, "Bro, of course." And Rishi had produced it. And likewise, that's how we work. Rishi and I have been working on some stuff together as well. So they're my brothers, man.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
lovely people. I keep telling Rishi that he should put out more of those blessings. He puts out those blessings on Instagram.
On Sunday.
It's
It's
just
beautiful,
lovely,
isn't it? Yeah.
beautiful, so
Yeah.
beautifully spiritual. It's what the world needs these days. It's amazing. And
Absolutely.
you guys and your
Absolutely.
music, of course.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna come to the DJs and the electronic music producers. I mean, here's Martin Jensen, who's
Hmm.
Danish. Iman Beck, who's from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What bangers these songs are!
Yeah.
Again, days like this and gone are
Hmm.
just dance floor burners.
Oh, thank you, man.
Looks like you had lots of fun on that.
Absolutely. I it's funny because I love, even though sort of R&B and pop R&B has always been my first love, I'd say, and hip hop. Hey, I love to make people dance. And when I perform, if you've been to any one of my shows, if anyone's been to my shows, one thing I think hopefully the take home is that it's very high energy. Like I love to make people have the time of their lives, right? So they're jumping, they're dancing, they're sweating, they're singing, but they are living in the moment. So sometimes when you do songs like this, man, the party goes off in a whole other way, right? Because you imagine the difference between singing Ride It on stage, it's a whole different feeling. And then you come with a dance floor bang and the whole crowd just jumps up again. I like to take them on this sort of roller coaster of emotions and stuff like that. So that's how these two songs came about. And it was a pleasure working with them. They have so much talent, great fan base, and it was a super fun experience.
How do you turn back the clock, man? I mean, I look at Jay Sean from the Nal Nachda days, and I look at down, which is halfway through there, a little ahead, and you just look the same.
Oh,
I think it's
brother,
clean
thank you.
living, isn't it? It was good Indian khana.
You know what it is, that, and also it's what my baba always said. No, happy wife, happy life, right? So as long as long as you keep everything, as long as things are happy at the house, man, and you're not giving the wife any stress, she's not giving you any stress. So it's a beautiful thing. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've just been loving sort of being healthy on the road for my whole career. I think that's something very important. We tour a lot, right? So as long as you eat good, train good, that's the main thing.
You know, considering you went to medical school and then your parents were so supportive and then you found a career in music. I mean, everybody knows that Jay Sean has the smarts.
Mm.
Your kids, I mean, I imagine you'd be a very open father and say, you want to do music, you do music. You want to do stuff other than music, do what you want. What shades are they showing?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because yeah, we never, of course, never pushed him in any particular direction. I firmly believe what my dad said as well. He was like, "Listen, let them choose their career because that's their thing that they're going to live with the rest of your life. One day we'll be gone. They'll still be stuck with their career and say like, Dad, you told me to do this." So let them find what they love. Let them find their passion. Unsurprisingly enough, both of them are, of course, very talented when it comes to music. They can both rap, they can both beatbox, they can both write songs. Like it's crazy. Part of that, of course, has to do with the fact that I play these games with them in the car on the way home from school. When since they were like 2, 3 years old, I was like, "Tell me about your day, but I need you to freestyle it." And they were like, "Daddy, what's freestyle?" I was like, "I'm gonna do a beatbox, and then you have to make it rhyme and tell me like what happened in your class." And they've been doing that. It's the game they love playing every day. And now, of course, they've all turned into rappers and singers and beatboxers. But let's see, man. Let's see what their passion is, brother. All I care about as a dad is that they're happy and can do something that they absolutely love.
How's your record label going? Are you still unearthing enough really talented kids whose career you can
Oh
take to the next level?
it's a really really beautiful project that we're working on because I think it allows me to wear a different hat, right? There's me as the artist, but then there's me as the executive when I'm dealing with signing the artists. It's me as a mentor now to these artists. So I understand them from this side of the table. So they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel supported. And it's not like, when you used to sign to a record label, or sometimes it still happens, they just want the hit, they want the smash. Where's the smash? But they might not understand the emotional journey you're on while you're trying to get there. And I think that that's something that my artists are really they do feel supported in that way. And of course, it's a way of me being able to light someone else's candle now. I've been blessed with a beautiful career, and I've been blessed with being able to grace so many stages around the world to represent us around the world as Indians. But now also want other kids to have that opportunity. So that's what 3 a.m. Is trying to do, and it's going great.
Jay, you must be really happy with concerts in India. I mean, look at the
Oh man,
couple of years we've been having. Coldplay
amazing,
came and played, 4 gigs, packed gigs, arenas,
amazing.
stadiums, cricket stadiums. Ed
Yeah,
Sheeran came, packed out cricket stadiums. We had Green Day, Sting, Imagine Dragons headline 3 editions of Lollapalooza, Maroon
amazing.
5 in between. Guns N' Roses are coming down.
Oh wow,
Travis Scott is on tour. He's here as part of the Circus Maximus tour. And
crazy.
you've been seeing the Indian gig scene from when it was like really a mom and pop shop.
Yeah, yeah,
That must
yeah.
make you feel good. Yeah.
It's amazing. I'll tell you something. I consistently tell people this about India. I'm like, guys, you do not understand. If you have not been, you don't understand the growth there. And it's literally like what you said. 20 years ago, I might have started up, with club shows and stuff like that, and you had to just know who I was, where my music was, and the only place you could listen to it was radio. Now, 20 years later, every kid's been born with a device in their hand. They can go and stream anyone from all over the world. And people all used to always say, "How do they know my music over there?" I'm like, dude, they listen to the same stuff we listen to here, dude. Like every kid's got an iPad, every kid has a music streaming platform. So they can be as much into Teddy Swims as you are, and even if they live in Calcutta, it doesn't matter. So it's a beautiful way of being able to listen to so many different artists and then get to see them live. And it works both ways, right? It's great for artists too to be able to tour around the world, places that they never imagined they would have a fan base.
Segues beautifully into my next question. When is the Jay Sean India tour? Are you going to wait for Last Call, the album to drop and then do it, or are you coming sooner?
No, 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 sooner. I mean, I actually tour India every year. India and the Middle East has been probably my biggest markets since the 23 years ago. You know, every single year without fail, apart from during pandemic, I do shows in India. So just look out for the dates this year. My team is actually putting that together right now. I think it's going to be within the next few months, actually. So that would be fun. And then I get a chance to play some of the new music. But also, the best thing I love about touring India, bro, is that they know everything from the first song. They know from Nachna Tere Naal all the way up until now. And that really is a beautiful situation, because not every country has heard your music right from the beginning, but India does. These kids could be 21 years old, but they were born when Dance with You was out,
Yeah.
but it's in their bloodstream. It's a
Lovely.
beautiful thing. Yeah.
My last question is how spiritual so you do you manage to go to the mandir or the gurdwara once a month, or you just keep prayer in your heart? Do you pray at all? Do you
Yeah.
meditate? I don't know, do some yoga?
Yeah. I mean, actually, all the above, all of the above. I do yoga 4 times a week. My wife actually owns a hot yoga studio, so she's an instructor and an owner. Bro, spiritualism is at the heart of everything that I do. I think it's the only thing that's allowed me to stay grounded through this insane journey, through this insane life that we all live. You know, where is your compass? Where's your moral compass? Where's your spiritual compass? For me, even though I'm born as a Sikh, Punjabi Sikh, I do absolutely love the teachings of Sikhism. But you know, I will go down and pray in a mandir, or on which we do on Sundays. I take my children to the mandir. That Ava has dance class as well, and then they do balvahar on Sundays, and they go there, and I'll say my prayers there. And whether I go to a gurdwara and I do them there, as long as I'm being able to be at one with God and spirituality, the universe, for me, that is my ultimate grounding point. And it's the only thing that really makes sense, makes this crazy life make sense.
Jay Sean, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. You can count on it that we're going to play Last Call loud on
I
Radio
love
1.
that.
And we can't wait
Thank
to
you
see you back.
guys.
Can't wait to see you back in India.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Lovely talking to you, man.
Thank you.
94.3 Radio 1.